Good morning and welcome to Terry Tuesday. How you feeling today, my man?
Good. Feel
Feeling
good
good?
today. Yeah.
Good. Glad to hear that. Yeah, got off to a decent start. We hit a pick four yesterday. Gotta like that, though.
Yeah.
The racing there, as we said, to get cracking in the morning yesterday was muddy Monday for
Yeah.
sure.
It was. I was very disappointed on how Chub Wagon ran, but they scratched that horse two Saturdays ago, and I thought at the time they were doing it to go to another race, but maybe there's some physical problem. They also changed jockeys, which didn't make sense to me. So
Mhm.
anyway, I should have really done it like you, my normal way, because I would have had to pick four in the last there too. So
Well, Sean sent me a little note. I think they actually put Chub Wagon up for sale
oh
today. I'm not 100% sure, but that's sure what it looks like to me in the
wow.
note that Sean sent me. So maybe you're onto something with
Yeah.
the horse possibly having an injury, or there's clearly something going on there. They changed a whole lot of the trainer, from what I understand. They changed the jockey, and then the horse
Yeah.
stopped. But then again, it looked to me like if you watched the race yesterday, it was kind of moving its head back and forth. I think maybe it just didn't like all the slop up in its face
Could
and
be.
just
Yeah.
said, I had enough of this and I'm going backwards.
Yeah. That could have been. Yeah. And your best bet won in that first leg of that, the five, was
Hmm.
my top pick too. So that's where I should have singled.
Yeah, I mean, we always the horse racing is the if, all right. It's the big fish that always gets away just about
that's
every day.
that's right. And I was really surprised at how low that pick four paid because there was a
Me
$20
too.
winner. They beat the big hard favorite, Chub Wagon, and then the last race he paid seven something. I think he
Hmm.
was second or third choice. So
Yeah, I was
I
kind
was
of
really
shocked too.
surprised. I thought it was
Yeah,
going to pay.
outside of that first horse, the five horse, everything else was a value horse.
That's right. I thought it
And
paid at least 600, but
yeah, I don't know. There must be a lot of people follow the show, Terry.
yep.
Last night, hopefully, a lot of people followed our Horse Center show. Sean and I last night on, we had jockey Dana Whitney on. Comes in from young man, was adopted in the Philippines, came to the United States, went to Brigham Young University. He's been. It was a really good show. Interesting story. I learned something last night. I probably kind of knew anyway, but that the jockeys are 1099. They're
Yeah.
not. Yeah, so that was kind of a interesting thing. So self-employed. And then also he talked a little bit about how he learned how to race. You want to watch this story. And then it ended up putting him in a situation where when he went to do like trial races, almost got in a fight with everybody at the track.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, in Louisiana, I think it was. Yeah, that's a
Mm-hmm.
good interview. I really liked that writer. So
Yeah, it was a
he's
fun interview.
it was. Yeah.
And then tonight we have on a probably sure shot Hall of Famer, if not so already, trainer Thomas Amos.
Uh-huh.
Became the 15th trainer in history to win 4,000 races. So
Wow.
if you have any questions for Mr. Amos, please tune in tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can hit us up in the comments section. If you have any picks today, if you have any thoughts about any of the races, make sure you hit us up in the comments section today. Let Terry and I know what you are thinking. We'll certainly share with you what our thinking is. And if you agree with us or disagree with us, don't be shy. Let it loose, right, Terry?
Yep. That's right. Let us know.
All right. So today we are going to try to go 2 days in a row with the pick four, at least at Horseshoe Indianapolis. Terry, let's get started with race number one. Race one is a 5.5 furlong, claiming 5,000 for two. And if you look on the bottom of the screen, we put together some new stuff. Terry, what do you see in terms of what the pace and I didn't think about this. I got to turn that off. All right, go ahead.
And there you go. Yeah, this is, of course, as you said, 5.5 furlongs. And if you take a look at post positions, the number one and two positions have a slight advantage over the 4 and 5. The 3, 6, and 7 are a little bit less efficient. And then if you look at the first call, if you're in the first or the fourth position, you 25% of those horses win. Second position is also a pretty good one. The other ones are a little bit, a little bit. I don't know. They just didn't.
Cold.
Yeah, they're cold. Yeah, trying to
Indeed.
look for the word there, but
Yeah, so
and that,
we're going to leave those up on the screen so that I have some other things that are forthcoming too in terms of graphics. But We feel like the post position and first call stuff kind of helps out. What do you think, Terry?
I do, and if you look up there, also you can see that the average odds have been 5-1, and the medium odds are 7-2. And these calculations are based on 28 races, so there's quite a few races to look at.
Yeah. So what I do is we take it from the last month of racing. And there's a couple of other things that'll be forthcoming too. As we get started on our pace worksheet, though, here, Terry, we see we're introduced to the first left arrow horse of the day in race number 1. New rule for Rich: if there is a left arrow horse, he's going into the card, because yesterday that 2-horse, Terry, was a left arrow horse. And what did it pay to show?
$30 to place and like 10 something to show.
Hey, Rich, is Hollywood a former trainer like Charles? No, Terry's just a good old time handicapper, man. Thank you, Barry, for the like. Make sure you tell your friends about us if you haven't done us already, Barry. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that above. And at every show, if you like what you see, please hit us up with the likes on YouTube. It really helps us with their algorithms. We appreciate the kind words. If you see here down here as well, Terry, when we break out the pace on this race, we see that the 1, the 6, the 1, the 3, the 4, the 7 all have similar early pace, late pace combinations. 3-horse catching the most late pace in the field. The 6-horse should get a comfortable ride. That's why he's boxed off. Be a lot of interesting stuff, I think, in this race, Terry. So how do you see race number 1 in terms of your ticket?
All right. Well, my first pick is.
Well, why don't you run through all 4 of them? Because this is your box it up real quick. Just give me the numbers and I'll go to your box.
Okay. Then I like the 4 with the 2, with the 3, with the 7.
4, 2, 3, 7. All right. And just so you know, I box it up is when we take 4 horses, we put them in an exacta box, trifecta box, and superfecta box. Hence the box it up. All right, Terry, walk us through your picks.
All right. Well, I like number 4, Super Duty Justice, is my first pick. You know, he ran second versus similar in his last race, has the highest last speed rating. He has a high speed figure at today's distance, and his best start speed is fastest among today's starters. Marks lots of those boxes off. And then number 2, No Man Can's my second pick. He won his last race, has a trainer who wins 24% of the time in claiming races, which is pretty good statistics. And then I like number 3, Pure Tap. He finished third versus similar in his last start and has a trainer who wins 20% of the time in claiming races. And then number 7, Indy Rebel. He has won a race at Horseshoe Indianapolis and has a trainer who in the last 14 days have been in money 4 out of 6 times and won 2 of those races.
All right. So that's Terry's box it up for race number 1. Again, that's a $1 exacta box. It is a 50-cent trifecta box, 10-cent superfecta box. In case you can't tell, Terry, I am delaying because we had to restart my computer, load up my picks. So I had to open them up real quick. I'm going to start off just like you at number 4. I'm in the wrong place, Terry. All right. Number 4. There we go. Super Duty Justice. Talked about it being a left arrow horse. Ran better fractions last time out at 6 furlongs versus 5.5 furlongs in the previous start. Ran the top last race speed figure and gets some maintenance work between races. Got to like to see that. Trainer keeping the horse sharp. Number 6, Can't Say Elime. Early pace numbers put him close to the front at a distance. So as you mentioned, Terry, and as you can see below, we're being first or second at the quarter pole, wins at a high rate. So I'm going to take a shot here at 15-1. The morning line for a horse that's making its third start off the bench and fits the bias. Number 7, Indy Rebel, is a one that doesn't look like it on paper, but that last race was a lot better than it looks with better fractions. And then number 3, Pure Tap is my final choice here. Has the top late pace in the field, and I don't think this one's going to be all that far off the pace, so it should have a shot to be involved. So we have Boris coming to us from Istanbul, Turkey. So we get a lot of people from Istanbul. We appreciate them showing up and saying hello, right, Terry?
That's right. We like it.
Indeed. We like it from anywhere in the world. Race number 2, Terry, is, and there again, we got the pace worksheet down there. Race 2 is 6 furlongs, optional claiming $40,000. Take us through the track bias, Terry.
All right. Well, first of all, as you said, it's a 6 furlong races, and we've based our statistics on 32 races. And if you look at the first post position, that's actually that one and the number 4 are the two best post positions in these 32 races, the one especially. And then if you look at the rest of them, they're in about the average. They're about average there. Then you go to the first call. If you're in the first call, if you're in first or second first position in the first call, then you typically win 21% of those races. And then the fourth position is also a very good one. The other ones are below par. And if you look at the average odds, are 7-2, and the medium odds are 2-1. So
Yeah, so meaning usually some favorites are hitting at this. The bettors usually get to 6 furlong races, right?
yeah,
Sure looks to me like you want to be first or second at the quarter pole. Mohammed, my best bet's coming up in race number 2. Terry's best bet's in race number 8. So you'll see the BBs down there today. Those are our favorite horses today. The long shots, I think, have a good shot to play here as well. In race number 2, let's take a look at the pace setup. And here again, up Terry, another left arrow horse.
yeah.
New rule: Rich is always going to have the left arrow horse in here. We don't see what I call a true front runner. This is the way I'm titling this "The Way to the Winner's Circle" because these are the way horses have won races in the past. So I figured if that's how they did it before, and I know in the stock market they say past performance is no guarantee, but if you see a horse wins by closing every time or getting on the front every time, or somewhere in the middle pressuring, it's pretty good indication that that's the kind of race shape that the horse needs. So the one horse is a pressure closer, but his early pace figures say without running any faster than he normally does, should be close to the front, probably with the 2. Both the 2 and the 6 are EP horses. That means they can be on the lead if they want to, or they can settle right behind the leaders, pressure, and then go ahead and try to win from that spot. The 5 horse is a closer that does carry the most late pace. That's kind of what you want to see out of closers. So it's a pretty interesting race in here again, Terry. They're all kind of bunched up in the middle. I think it could be one that plays out pretty favorably to horses with a little bit of early speed. What do you say?
Well, I'll tell you what, my first pick is the number 1 horse, which is that left arrow horse. So I'm very
Mm-hmm.
happy about that. Hazy Command. She won her last race at Horseshoe Indianapolis and has the highest last race speed rating. And the rail post is winning in a 19% clip. And I'm really glad because, as you've seen with the statistics, that position wins a big percentage of the races
Mm-hmm.
at 6 furlongs. And then I like number 2, Panna. She drops in class today, has a high percentage winning trainer. Her best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. She has a trainer jockey combination who, in the last 14 days, been in the money 100% of the time, winning 2 of those races, 1 second, 1 third. And I like as my third pick, number 6, Off We Go. She should improve while returning to dirt, and her trainer wins 18% of the time with a horse. He moves from the turf to the dirt. And she has a bullet workout on September 24th. And then number 4, Easy on My Eyes. She won her last race at Horseshoe Indianapolis and now going for a hat trick.
All right, Terry. So, Mohammed, as you mentioned, you wanted to know a little bit of our best bets today. I'm going to get started with my best bet in race number 2. And that's going to be my left arrow horse, Terry. The 1 horse. Yes, indeed. We're talking about Hazy Command. This one did have, as I mentioned, a left arrow horse with the top early pace and late pace combination. As we see on the box below, the rail does win at a pretty high rate. Horse ran at Indianapolis one time, won that race. Been in run at the distance to 6 times with 2 wins, 2 seconds, and 2 thirds. Number 2, this computer's driving me nuts. Panther. If I'm not on the right screen, stuff starts jumping all over the place.
Uh-oh.
This one's a lot better last out. It's dropping in from a non-graded stakes race. I also think this one's going to be involved from the jump. So when those gates open, the 2 and the 1 are going to battle it out there. That's a real nice bunch of September works getting ready for today. All right, Terry. Number 6, off we go. Terry is in my computer once again. This guy's flipping from turf to dirt. Trainer Gennaro Garcia has won 21% of the time when making that surface switch. That's a really fast 4 furlong bullet workout as well on September the 24th. And then finally, number 5. So a little bit of difference there. Princess Ellen is my final choice in race number 2. Does have the top last race speed figure. I think this one has plenty of opportunity to improve into third off the break. So let's see how that plays out for Princess Ellen. Race number 3. Let me just pull this out of here. Banners. Race 3, and then race number. Where the hell is race 3? Why is everything out of order? There is no race 3 in here. Race 2. All right, hold on one second, Terry, while I pull up race number 3. While I pull up race number 3, where in the hell is race 3? I can't believe it's not in there. All right, Terry. So why don't you start to take us through your, you know what? Tell us a little bit about the picks with the professor while I pull up race number 3.
Well, he's if you haven't checked him out, you should, because he does fairly darn good. He's made some good money. You can find him on a link down at the bottom of the page. And if you like playing sports like baseball and football, that's probably the place you want to go.
Yes, indeed. Well, he does college football Thursday and Saturday. He does Major League Baseball every other day. Playoffs are about to get started. So you're going to want to check out the picks with the professor. Now we can check out the picks for race number 3 with Terry. Let's bring up the pace setup. Here we go. This is a 1 mile and 1/16 race on the turf.
That's right. It is. And you can see, first of all, it's 5 races is all that we've based this on. Average odds are 7-1, and the medium odds are 9-2. But you can see by looking at the post positions that basically it's kind of spread right across the plane there. There's nobody that's really been doing exceptionally well. And then if you look at the first call, if you're in the first call, usually you don't do very well, at least in these 5 races. In the second, third, fourth, and fifth, you do pretty well, and then the rest of them you're not going to do very well. But of course, we need to see a few more races to see how well this does. So
yeah, how that data plays out for sure. Yeah, it just looks to me like you probably want to have tactical speed. At least so far, that's been what the clue says, right?
That's right.
So race 3, we do get a couple scratches in here. The 3 horse scratched out. The 11 horse and the 10 horse were both main track entrants only. So that says that they're running on the turf today. And what should be a beautiful day in Indiana. It was real nice around Chicago yesterday. Typically, they get the same weather we get the next day. 7 horse is probably the one that might be your pace setter, or at least is going to get one of the most comfortable paces in the field. If you look at the 8, the 2, the 4, the 10, and the 3, and the 11, so the 10 and the 11 obviously aren't a part of this anymore. So the 8, the 2, the 4, and the 3, they have some similar late pace numbers. So maybe horses that can get towards the front that have a little bit of a speed advantage might be the horses that have a little bit of a pace advantage. And that's kind of what it showed down below, where you can see that it looks like tactical speed is the way to go. How are you going to go in this spot, Terry, in race 3?
Okay, I like the number 8 horse. That's my first pick, Rockin' Justice. He ran second versus Tupper in his last race. He drops in class for today's race and has the highest last race speed rating. And then number 7, Akami. I guess that's how you pronounce it.
Akami? Who likes commies, Terry?
Yeah, nobody. I don't know. He finished third versus Tupper in his last race, and he drops in class today. And then number 5, Silent Sonata. He finished third. Again, one of the horses finishing third on the dirt in his last race, and his best turf speed is close to the average winning speed. So he's back to the turf. Number 1 is my 4th pick, Jackson Gold. He has finished in the money in 2 out of 4 races this year, winning one of the races at Horseshoe Indianapolis at today's distance.
I like Rockin' Justice as well. Terry's in my computer once again. Rockin' Justice did run the top last race. Speed figure dropping in class from $100,000 non-graded stakes race, Terry. I absolutely love that combination of horses that are dropping with the top last race speed figure. They win over and over and over again. And its resume says that Rockin' Justice will be better in the third start after a layoff. Number 7, Akamai, is my second choice. On the Horseshoe Indianapolis grass, 8 times, 1 win, 4 seconds, and a third. So I think you see a little bit of a trend there. A horse that likes to hang at the end. Ran third in the same race as Rockin' Justice last time out. So I think probably finishes behind him again. Number 4 is my next choice. That's Load 'em Up Justice is my third choice. It's the lone pressure closer horse in the field. Usually gets way back and then tries to rally hard at the end, but also has some ability to stay closer to the front. I think you'll probably see the 4 horse more forwardly placed to date than usual. And then finally, number 2, $1 Million Red is my final choice. Does get some weight break today. Should be closing at the end. And on the Horseshoe Indianapolis turf, in the money 5 times out of 10 races, with 2 wins and a trio of seconds. So maybe a horse that can pop in there. Race number 4, Terry, is our last leg to the opening pick 4. Race 4 is a 6 furlong affair, like we talked about before, claiming $12,500. And again, kind of give us some quick insights on the post position and track speed bias.
Okay, well, you see, there's 30. It's based on 32 races, and the medium odds are 2-1. The average odds 7-2. The first post position, the fourth post position, are probably your two best places to be. Although the second, third, and fifth are not too bad; they're just right behind. And then, if you're in the first or second place during the first call, you typically do better than the rest of the people or rest of the horses, other than the 4. So
Yeah, certainly
looks like
looks like
speed.
it looks like you want to be first or second when those gates open at the quarter mile marker.
Yeah,
That looks like it's the place to be to me. So let's see how these horses play out. Up, guess what we see, Terry?
a
Here we
left
got a
horse.
lot of speed in this race,
Yeah.
though, which kind of concerns me a little bit. You got the 2 horse, the 8 horse. That's what all these horses boxed off are the ones that are probably going to compete for the lead. We have the 6 horse being a pressure closer horse that also can be a part. It's a horse that, if the pace is too fast, can go back. If the pace is too slow, can move forward. So has a lot of versatility. I find the EPs, but probably more so the PCs, are your most versatile horses. They're not as pace dependent as either the E's or the C's or the P's. So this is a race that can, I think, have it can have one of those pace meltdowns. If so, the 3 horse as your lone closer with the top late pace could be one that really shines at the end. Who do you think is going to shine when they hit the finish wire, Terry?
Well, start with, I like the 6, that left arrow horse again, Sweet Justice.
So I know you're in my notes now.
She has won 3 of her last 4 races at Horseshoe Indianapolis, has the highest last speed rating, and has a high percentage winning trainer. And then number 8, Diamonds and Demon. She drops in class today, and she's returning to the dirt, which should help her. And then number 1, Mary Lou. Mama Lou. She has the highest speed figure at today's distance. The rail post is winning in a 19% clip, as I've said in the past. And her best third speed is fastest among today's starters. The trainer in the last 14 days has won 2 out of 6 starts. And then my 4th pick is number 4, Keen Eye Sight. Now that's cute. Anyway, she won her last race at Horseshoe Indianapolis, and the trainer wins 33% of the time of the horse that won its last claiming race.
I'm going to start with the 1 horse as my top choice by process of elimination. I wasn't not really a big fan of a lot of horses in this field. Gets the top spot because the rail wins at Horseshoe Indianapolis on the surface 4 times out, 3 seconds and a third. Gambler's fallacy due to make that go. I think it's going to be in the mix at the end. Probably most confident that it'll be in the money. Number 6 is that left arrow horse. It was probably should be my top pick, Terry. Did run faster fractions last out, 3 consecutive speed figure increases. But when I look back to see how the horse did in previous times where it increased its speed figure 3 in a row, in that 4th one, it regressed every time. So I'm a little bit fearful of some regression today. If Sweet Justice can break that trend and continue up the speed ladder, I think it wins and deserves the first spot. Number 8, Diamonds and Denim. The break here is the key for this horse. If she has the lead at the first call, she'll be courageous and be very confident. If not, if she doesn't get the lead at the first call, she loses all confidence and probably runs out of the money. She is absolutely the definition of a all or nothing horse. And then finally, number 3, Wild Tap It. Half the field has similar early pace numbers as we saw in the pace worksheet. I think all those horses, if they duke it out on the lead, the lone closer with the top late pace, it could be one of those races where it was an ideal fit. It was a tough call for me between the 3 and the 4, to be honest with you, for that spot right there. This is our hot dog pick 4 for races number 1, 2, 3, and 4, Terry.
Yeah.
Take us a little bit through your ticket structure.
Well, I think this is pretty wide open first 4 races. And so I went with the 2, 3, 4 in the first leg, and then the 1, 2, 6. Then I went with 2 horses in the third leg and 2 horses in the fourth leg. So the only one that I'm missing that I wished I had was that 1 horse.
Well, I went 2 by 2 by 2 by 5. So I'm hoping that plays out, that I can get through those first 3 legs with some of those horses in there. I felt like I could single the 4 in that first leg, maybe the 8 in race number 3. And then down the stretch, that last race, race 4, I feel like that's a wide open affair. So I went ahead and put 5 horses in there, hoping to get through to the last leg. And I'll feel pretty good if I do, Terry. Let's see, we can win with the 4. So the 4 horse has to win the first leg. Otherwise, there's no chance for both of us to bring it
That's
home.
right.
Hopefully we can do that. That's the name of the game, Terry.
Be nice.
Race number 5. This one is a mile and a 16th on the turf. We've seen a couple of these miles and a 16th on the turf so far. This will be the second one we see at a mile and a 16th on the turf for race number 5.
Yeah.
Take us through the race pace and post position bias.
Well, as I said earlier, there's only been 5 races to base our statistics or your statistics on. And, you can actually make a pretty good penny here if you, because the medium odds are about 9-2. Right now, it's just kind of spread across the board. You can be in the 1st, 3rd, 5th, 6th, 8th, or 10th positions and do okay. But if you're in the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, or 5th position at the first call, you normally do pretty darn well.
Yeah, it looks like so far in the early races, again, on these turf races, tactical speed has been the way. It's an interesting setup to me too here, Terry, because you got a couple horses that want to get on the lead, the 6 and the 7, neither of which are boxed. So that means, according to the way I calculate early pace, that they might not be your leaders, though in previous races, it looks like they're a little bit race dependent on being on the front. The 4 horse should be right in the pressure spot. Got to like that. And it has the 0-1, meaning the combination of early pace and late pace. It is the top combination of that. Again, got a couple left arrow horses in here with the 1 and the 5. Now, the 5 gets a pretty interesting designation, so it kind of counters the left arrow. This is a never close horse. So far in its races, it's not been close to the winner's circle, at least in the last 10. Although at the quarter mile marker and the half mile marker could be very competitive today. So if that's the situation, maybe one that can upset. So the NC is the rare exception where I may not have a horse in my picks, although I'm probably going to regret it. And here again, we see that the 8 horse does have the most late pace. So if you're looking for a closer, the 8 horse is your guy. I'm looking for your winners, Terry, and I'm looking for your long shot. Is the 5 your long shot in here?
The 5? No, the 5 is not my long shot. Sorry to tell you that. My long shot's the 10.
The 10.
Counter offer. He has the highest speed figure at today's distance. His best start speed is fastest among today's starters. He has a trainer wins 44% of the time in the first race after claiming a horse. That's pretty fantastic. And
a startling number.
Yeah, it is. He's a deep closer. Number 11 is a closer, Marv's Magic. He drops in class today and has the highest last speed rating. And then number 4 is my third pick, Scarlet City. He ran second versus similar in his last race, and he has a trainer wins 20% of the time in claiming races. And then number 2, Lord Dylan, whatever.
Dylan?
I don't know. He returns to turf and has a jockey who in the last 7 days has been in the money 10 out of 15 times, won 4, 1 second, and 5/3.
Okay, I'm going to start with number 4, Terry. Scarlet City at Horseshoe Indianapolis. 14 times out, 3 wins, 6 seconds, and a third. Coming off the bench, has a spotty record, sometimes really good, sometimes not so good. But I'm counting on that top early pace, late pace combination coming through for me today. Number 11, Marv's Magic, did tie for the top last race. Speed figure makes that move down in class in here, Terry. Has some of the most late pace and is one of the most consistent performers in this group. Number 1, Gray Streak, left arrow horse, is the other to tie for the top last race speed figure. Dropping in class as well. And this one's running at its lowest level since it broke its maiden in maiden claiming 25,000. Other than that, it's not been in a claiming race. Then the rest of these between the 2, the 3, and the 10 were all very difficult choices for me. So I went with the 2 horse Duchessois, a little bit of Chicago ties, as Mr. Duchessois used to own Arlington Park. Now the Chicago Bears own it. This one's likely to be better in its third start off a layoff. Does have some of the most late pace in the field. And if you look a little bit deeper too, has some back speed. So I think if the race is going a little bit too slow, Duchessois might be able to move a little bit forward and make itself known. Race 6. Hold on. Let's see. We got a little comment up here. What's the comment say? Charles, what the hell happened to Charles? I think 11 has a good chance of winning race number 5. Yeah, it's Stu Terry. Yeah, we both have him rated second. So race number 6 is our next race on the ticket. Race 6, Terry, is another one that looks to me like it's 6 furlongs, optional claiming $30,000. We kind of been through the pace setup a little bit, but just quickly recap.
All right, 32 races. Medium odds are 2-1. And the first post position and the fourth post position looks like your best place to be. And then on the first call, if you're in the first or second position in the first call, you do pretty well. It looks like speed does really well in this distance. So
that's 6 furlongs. Yeah. So the 4-horse scratched out on here. Again, we got another situation where we got plenty of horses that want to let everybody know, make themselves announced when the gates open. The 1, the 8, and the 5 should be your fastest coming out of the gate. The 6 horse being one that should be right behind them as a pressure horse, has the most late pace in here and the best combination of early speed and late speed. So if all of this group right here, they decide to get a little too frisky, you might see this 6 horse really have a nice pace setup to bring it home for the win at the end of the race. The end of the race, how do you see them lining up?
Well, I like the number 7 horse as my first pick, Double Tough. He won his last race at Horseshoe Indianapolis. He has the highest speed figure at today's distance. His best start speed is fastest today's starters. Then number 8, Mr. Manning. He finished third versus similar in his last race at this track, and the distance won't be a problem as he's shown in the past. Then number 1, Rockin' June Bug. He drops in class today. The real post is winning at the 19% clip, and he has a high percentage winning trainer. And then number 6, Jova. He finished third versus Tougher in the last race. He drops in class also and has a high percentage winning trainer too. So.
All right. So got a lot of good reasons to like those 4. For me, I like these 4 in my box it up. This is race number 6 at Horseshoe Indy. Number 3 is my first choice in here. Terry, nice. I thought this was going to end up being your long shot of the day, but it could have been my long shot too. Music to My Ears. And I think the most competitive race on the card today. This is an EP horse that is, so it can run on the lead if it needs to run on the lead, can run right off the lead if it wants to run right off the lead. So it has some versatility in here. In a race that looks like it's filled with speed, this horse is making its third start off the break. And it's been pretty successful at this distance. It's run 21 times, won 9 of them, so just a little bit under half, and has a quartet of thirds. Double Tough is another one of those horses that likes the distance as well. Been at the distance 29 times with 10 wins, 7 seconds, 4 thirds. So in the money, 21 out of 29. Got to like that. Was better early in its last race in terms of its speed figures, its pace numbers, and a little bit of its fractions in there. 3 consecutive speed figure increases, but unlike the other horse previously, this one didn't have any kind of absolute regression or any pattern afterwards. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. We're hoping for the up today. Number 6, Jova, has the most late pace in the field. That's filled with a lot of speed up front potentially. So it should be able to benefit owning the top early pace and late pace combination. And I like the fact that this one has a bullet workout in between races. Then finally, number 8, Mr. Manning. The resume says expect a pretty nice, noticeable bounce up in race 2 off the sidelines. And it's another one that has the potential to be on the gas from go. Scary. So that's what we're looking for. Race number 7 is the next race on the card. Let's see. Marat says, Barris take car. I don't know what that means, so maybe you could translate that for me. I can probably look it up. I'm guessing it's probably in Turkish, Terry.
Yeah, probably.
Race number 7. This one is a 5 furlong on the turf maiden special weight for $34,000, Terry. They've run, that looks to me like 11 races at this distance.
Yeah.
How does it play out?
Well, it looks like you can get some pretty good payoffs here too, because the average odds are 7-1 and the medium odds are 4-1. And if you look at the first 5 post positions, that's where you want to be in this short 5 furlong on turf, especially the first position and the fourth position. And then if you're in the lead in the first call, almost 50% of the time they win those races.
Mm.
And then the third and if you're in the third position, you do pretty well too. The rest of them are kind of just average, except for the very, very back. They haven't done very well from 8 post out.
Yeah, so it looks to me like a little bit of inside speed maybe is the way to go here, right?
Mm-hmm.
This race, I'm going to suspect, Terry, can you look real quick if there's some scratches in here? Because the 13 and the 14 were both also eligibles. They weren't scratched when we first got started. Again, here we see another left arrow horse, the 6 horse in here. It is also dropping in class. That's what that down arrow means. You'll also see a series of sideways arrows. The sideways arrows are horses that are running at the same level. If you see one that points up, that means a horse that's moving up in class. The 12 horse is another class dropper in here as well, with the 8. 13's dropping, the 9's dropping. And over here we have a host of first-time starters. Now, ordinarily, what I do is I put the first-time starters in one bucket, the experienced horses in another bucket. But today I have a mix between the two as far as that. Any word on the 13 or the 14?
As far as it goes right now, they're still in the race.
All right, so they haven't made. So there's going to be some scratches in that race. They just haven't been announced yet. So keep an eye out on that. My picks include scratches for now. We'll talk a little bit about alternatives in the event that the 13, which is the one that I'm going to have in my picks, in the event that one is not in the race, Terry. It's my long shot. What are your picks today?
Yeah, okay. And actually, these races don't go off for at least 2 hours from now, or around an hour and 3/4. So there will probably be some scratches in about 45 minutes. So anyway, in that 7th race, I like the number 5, Lily's Home. It's my first pick. She has finished in the money in 4 out of 4 career races, so she's very competitive. She finished 3rd versus Similar on the dirt in her last race, and her breeding suggests she will like the grass, so we'll see how she does. And number 1, Catch a Later Mo. She finished 3rd versus Similar last race. She has the highest last race speed rating. The rail post winning at an 18% clip, and her best turf speed is fastest among today's starters. Then I like number 11, Vivid Exposure. Even though that the outside posts haven't done very well, we're going to try with this one. She ran 2nd in her last.
That never scares you off, Terry.
It doesn't, no. She ran 2nd in her last race and may improve, cutting back to 5 furlongs. And then 6 is my 4th pick, Gold Blooded. She drops in class today, has a trainer who wins 21% of the time in the 2nd career race that a horse has been entered in, and may improve with Lasix being added today.
So Gold-Blooded is my long shot of the day here, Terry. I was thinking about making the 3 in the prior race the long shot too, but I like the 6 in here. It is a left arrow horse, so I'm going to be all over my left arrow horses forevermore. Does have an early pace, a plus early pace edge, so it means when I put the scores together, at least 5 points better than the next closest horse. So it's going to get out to the front, I feel. And also, when you look at it, it's getting first-time Lasix, Terry. So you know how I like early speed that fades with Lasix. That combination usually works. The horse is dropping in class. I like that as well, and has a bullet workout between races. So a lot of arrows pointing towards that left arrow horse as a potential winner. The 10 horse is my second choice in here. And looks like Charles agrees with me on this 10 horse in here. Charles says in race number 7, he really likes the 10 horse. We'll play daily double into this race with 1, 3, 7, 8, 6, and 10. I like the 10 horse in here. Some really nice sharp workouts getting ready, prepped for its debut. Number 2 is my third choice in here, which is Isabel Alexandria. A lot of long words there. Another one with good workouts, getting ready for the first start. This one has our friend from Spot Plays, Eddie C's maiden angle. And that's 2 workouts ago was a bullet, then a maintenance, then to the track. Top pedigree numbers for turf by a long shot. So keep an eye out on that 2 horse. And then if the 13 gets in, that's my 4th choice. Drops in class, another one that should benefit from first-time Lasix, except it's likely to be more in the end of the race than the beginning. If not, then the 1 horse will be the alternative for me for the 13. And we'll talk about that a little bit when we do our prime rib pick 4s just a minute. last like thoroughbred race of the day. So as far as I'm concerned, it is the last race of the day. This one is 5.5 furlongs, just like we started out the day. 5.5 furlongs on the main track. Terry, this is how we started. This is how we end with our pace position, post and pace biases.
Yeah, and like I said, they've ran 28 races, so they like this sprint racing at 5.5 furlongs, and the average odds were 5-1, medium odds 7-2. If you look at this, if you're in the first and second positions, you do very, very well. In the third through the seventh position, you do okay, especially for the fourth and fifth. If you're in the eighth or ninth, so far they haven't done very well at all. The first call, if you're in the first, second, or fourth positions, if the first call, if you're in, you do very well. So
yeah, so it looks like if you're towards the front, you're going to be. If you're in the first four, you're probably going to. You're at the quarter mile marker. You're probably going to find your winner in that group right there.
That's right. Speed usually does pretty well in these short races.
So speaking of speed, it looks to me like we have another race that's loaded with some early speed in here. The one horse pressure horse means it could probably just be right off the pace. But of those horses that are in there, the 6, the 7, and the 8, so that middle bunch right there, all going to be competing for the lead. Everybody in here is even though it's a maiden race, they're all running at the same level. So there's really no advantage of class dropping in here. The 9 horse might be one that has a pace advantage because all of these decide to blow out and go fast. The 6 and the 9 are EP horses, so they don't need to be on the lead like the 2, 7, and 8. Again, these are all maidens, so we don't really know their true way to the winner's circle yet. But from what they've shown so far, the 6 and the 9 look like they can sit right off the pace if it's too fast, get involved if it's too slow. The 9 carries the most late pace and has a plus early pace and late pace advantage, outscoring the next closest person by at least 5. And we do get a first-time starter here today, Terry, with the 4 horse. But morning line odds of 20-1, not a whole lot in the workouts to encourage me. I was thinking about throwing him in there just for the sake of putting him in there. Any chance you have the 4 in your picks?
No, I don't think there's any chance. No, don't have.
But you do have your best bet in these picks.
I do. I have the number 1, Bumpy. He finished third in his last race and has a high percentage winning trainer. This trainer wins 25% of the time when he brings a beaten favorite back to race again. And the dirt speed for this horse is fastest among today's starters. I think he's going to be closer to the lead in this one. Number 3, Go Early, Stay Late is my second pick. He ran second versus similar in his last race. He has the highest last speed rating. Number 9, Dossier, one you were talking about. He ran fourth versus similar in his last race. The jockey in the last 7 days has won 4 out of 15. That'd be nice if he won 10, but won 4 out of 15 races. And then number 6, Just the Notion. He has early speed, may lead all the way, and showed a large improvement in his last race.
All right. So Charles says he likes the 9 horse in race number 8. Your third pick, Terry. And in race number 8 for me, let me just pull this down a little bit so that we have that on there. In race number 8, I'm going to start with guess who, Charles? I'm going to start with the 9 horse in there. This is Dossier. It's a horse, as I mentioned. I think it's going to have the right race shape in here. Going to be involved early, has the top late pace, doesn't need to be on the lead. And if you put together the early pace and late pace combination, at least 5 points better than the next closest one. So Dossier has, I think, the right race shape, the right running style to bring home this race number 8. Your second choice, your first choice, your best bet's my second choice. Bumpy did run better fractions last out, was the favorite. So I'm not a big fan of horses that burn money on the maidens, but trainer Randy Klopp does rebound at 26% the next time around the track, with chalk that failed to materialize. Number 6 is Just a Notion, improved nicely from its debut in its last race. And if this one takes a similar step forward as it did in its last race, could be enough to overtake the 9 and the 1. And then finally, number 5, a Majestic Zeus, was decently bet in its debut, really didn't show a whole lot. So I'm trying to see if maybe Majestic Zeus shows a little bit more to live up to those betting odds in that debut. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. We'll find out. All right, this is also race number 8, wraps up the late pick 4, Terry, which for us is the prime rib pick 4. Terry's going to go 4x3 by 4x4, traditional $96. Rich is going to go a little bit different take here, Terry. I'm going to go 5x4 by 5x2. So if I get to the last leg, I'm going to be sweating it. Looking at your picks, I might be sweating it in race number 5 without the 10 horse in there.
Yeah, you never know. 10 looks pretty good. So
I'm going to be down to that 1 and the 9 at the end. So actually, I was thinking about going 6x4 by 3. And the 10 horse would have been my next one in there. So I think I just locked in the 10 as your winner, Terry.
I think you did, yeah.
Yeah, that's how that usually works out. All right, the last race, race number 9, is a quarter horse race, 300 yards. I really don't do a whole lot into the what I call the what do you call those races, Terry? I call them the lotto races.
Car. They're bumper car races.
No, they're the pick 4 races, the lotto races. When you're watching on your TV and they're doing the pick 3 for the evening news, those ping pong balls are bouncing around.
Yeah.
That's what it is for me. But all right, what is it for you? You like this stuff. Tell me what you like.
Well, I like number 10, the veteran. I like horses that quarter horses that are on the outside. This horse shortens up, which I think will really help. And then I like number 8, CC Sweet Thing. She just missed and finished third, missed finishing third, ran 4th. And then I like number 4, PJ, trouble in the last race, and still ran 3rd. So we can see what happens if you get a clean start. And then number 1, I Betcha. She hopped outward at the start in her last 2 races. If they can get that corrected, she'll finish better with a clean start.
All right, I went 10, 4, 8, 1. Somehow we have the same 4 horses in a little bit different order, despite the fact I'm not a big fan of this stuff, Terry. So I like the outside. The only thing I do like the outside horses. That's the one I do like. So that 10, the inside too, if I can get a clean break too right in there. Thank you. We appreciate that, Charles. Hope you have a great day today. Let's talk. If 13 doesn't draw in, Rich, you add the 10. Yeah, maybe I should add the 10 in race number. But I have the 1, I think, as my next choice in there. So if you go to my hot dog pick 4, my prime rib pick 4, you see the 13 is in there. So if the 13's not in, it's the 1 for me. But maybe I should put the 10 in there. But that's up in race number 5. We'll find out how that all plays out as the day goes on. But again, if the 13 doesn't draw in, for me, it is the 1. Same thing in my picks. Real quickly, let's run through all of our picks again for the day, Terry. At Horseshoe Indianapolis, better known as Indiana Grand, Terry is going to start right out with his box it up in race number 1, 4, 2, 3, and 7. My box it up is in race number 6 with a nice long shot on top. That's why I made that it's 12-1 morning line. So let's see if he can come home as your winner. I think he gets bet down. Terry, my best bet's in race number 2 with that 1 horse. Terry liked that 1 horse too, a left arrow horse. Terry's best bet is also the 1 horse in race number 8, though, all the way towards the end of the card, the last of the late pick 4. So hopefully the 1 or the 9 does take that one in. Terry's long shot being in race number 5, that 10 horse might be a regret for me in my my prime rib pick 4. My long shots in race number 6. Again, our hot dog pick 4 in race number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Terry going 3, 3, 2, 2. Rich going 2, 2, 2. So I'm doing a little bit of the Noah in the first 3 races, 2 by 2 by 2. And then I go a little bit deeper in the last leg. And then finally, again, our prime rib. Again, recall that the 13, if it gets in, stays. If it doesn't get in, I want the 1 horse. Well, it all depends, too, on what these horses up here do. If they might scratch out, then it's any combination of those 4.
Yep.
And if you're going to bet a little bit later on today at Will Rogers Downs, please head on over to Horse Racing Today. Guaranteed tip sheet, there is a link below in the description here on YouTube, as well as in the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you haven't done so already, kindly follow us. You can see on the scroll bar below. Terry, where do folks want to follow us at?
Well, they want to follow us on, I'm sorry.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all of the above.
Yeah, and they sure do, yeah. Sorry about that. I was trying to fix something, so.
Nice recommendation. Charles likes that, and to box it up early. Hopefully we like it when it's over. That's really the game plan there. If you like what you saw, please do us a huge favor. Give us a thumbs up on Facebook, on YouTube. Retweet us on Twitter. Those are the types of things that help us get more exposure, right? Because it moves us up their rankings, Terry.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, you're off, so I'll be back with Charles to handle Churchill Downs. Thursday, we'll do Bank of America, otherwise known as Belmont at Aqueduct. I'm not quite sure what Tom and I are doing for 4 and Fridays. Tonight, again, make sure you join in, Sean and I, for Thomas Amos, one of the few trainers to get to 4,000 wins. That's a big ass number right there. And then I'm not quite sure what we're going to do Thursday night. I know Wednesday, Sean and I have on Jaime Rodriguez, who's been winning every single race at Delaware, not leaving any crumbs to anybody else. So it'll be interesting to see what's working for him. All right, Terry, I think I covered everything. Any final thoughts before we get up and out of here?
Yeah, just take it easy today and make sure that you let your loved one knows how you feel about them, especially if you love them.
Well, if you don't like them, sometimes, it's good to tell them if they have a habit they don't like as well.
That's right. And just have a wonderful rest of the week. So
So I guess that brings me my 3 things for the day. Number 1, I'll just piggyback off of you. We'll go back to this again. Treat people like you want to be treated, right? So
that's right.
That's, I think, a really good way to live. And then number 2, I'm going to say my grandmother taught me this lesson a long time ago. Mind your own business, right?
Yeah.
And it meant a couple of different things. I asked my grandmother, I said to her, because they owned a shoe store. They lived pretty well on Main Street in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. Had a nice little penthouse, drove nice cars, and had a really nice house up on a hill. Anyway, so I asked them how much money they make, and she said, mind your own business. And she meant it in 2 ways. 1, what other people do is really not your own business. But number 2, she explained to me, also take care of your business.
Yes.
You do the things you need to do, then you can have a nice house, a nice car, and all that kind of stuff too. So take care of your business. And no matter what your business is today, Terry, whether it's at the track, at the office, talking to your grandmother, no matter what you're doing, we hope it ends up in only one place. And that place can only be J. Marco's
Winner's Circle.
Indeed. Thank you for joining on this Terry Tuesday. Look forward to seeing you tonight.